Hello, welcome back to the Old Testament from off of Genesis. I'm your man, the Shed. This is obviously the Shed, the new globe. There you go. Anyway, so we have currently told the story of Adam and Eve, and their time in the amazing Garden of Eden. I'm sure they had a wonderful time there, and their offspring, everything that came from there. We're currently learning about Noah and the ark. So the vessel was built and the animals entered two by two. Now they have been floating on the never ending, seemingly sea. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And God made the wind blow over the earth and the waters subsided. Did he forget? Surely everything would have been killed after just a couple of days. But hey ho, I'm sure God knows what he's doing. Also, the story wouldn't have been quite as dramatic if it was. You know what? I think they're dead now. Surely God would have known anyway because he is all powerful. They fell into the depth, and the windows of the heavens were closed, and the rain from the heavens was restrained. Well, that's good then. Fountains of the deep. That's deep BS. I guess the rains would have been enough. Also, plenty of farmland gets flooded, yet creatures survive. They learn how to stop rain getting in. A sign of evolution, this is. I'll give you the earthworm. And the waters gradually receded from the earth. And the end of 150 days, the waters had dated. I think that's the proper word. Abated? Dated? Who knows? Now, if the waters got as deep as cleaned and the gases in the atmosphere would have been pushed out, this surely would have made it larger. The world was at sea level pre-flood, around 5 miles deep. Himalayan mountains, they are mighty high. Look up the height of mountains like Everest. The book said it was 15 cubits deeper than the highest mountaintop. Just saying what the Bible said. And the 7th month of the 7th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest at Mount Ararat. Actually, detailed reference, no year, but vagueness is good. That's how evidence fails. Not really scientific, is it, this book? The waters continued to abate until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 10th day of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. The amount of water that has been 10 months until the tops of the mountains appear. Mount Ararat is in what is now eastern Turkey, and Armenia Highlands stands at around 5,137 meters high. And the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark he had made, and the stink that left must have been incredible. Windows on both, that's the worst. What's the worst that could have happened there, eh? And he sent out the raven, because that must have been a really smelly bird, I guess, and it went to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth. So how would that help, to be fair? If it doesn't come back, it could have found dry land and a tree or something to rest and perhaps drowned. And there's a lot of water, so what's the chance of it finding that boat anyway? Then he sent out the dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. Is that what the raven was doing? But there you go. Why would you trust a raven? Why wouldn't you trust a raven? And the dove found no place to set his foot, and it returned to him to the ark, for the waters were still on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took it and brought it to the ark with him. Brought it into the ark with him, sorry. So the dove was allowed to back on the boat, and the raven must have been pretty dead now. So why are there still ravens? he waited another 7 days, and again he sent out the dove from the ark. I would have thought that it was good to get out of the vessel, the feces infested boat. Anyway, I'm sure the dove enjoyed it, and the dove came back. I suppose he used his nose here, and the dove came back to him the evening, and there in his beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the face of the earth. The pressure and weight from all the water on had. Sorry, let me start. So the pressure of all this water had on everything that was on earth should have crushed everything on the ground. Yet this olive tree not only survived and had leaves on it. How the hell did that happen? Then he waited another 7 days and sent out the dove, and it did not return to him anymore. Anything should have happened to this dove, yet I guess it must have meant that the land, now surely you would notice the look of the water, the pressure must have got strong and the currents would have been mighty. There is no way that boat should have survived. God saved it, I guess. In the 600 years, in the 601st year of the first month and the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the coverings of the earth and looked and saw that the face of the ground was now drying. Now we're getting some time, but it makes no sense that there was nothing to compare it to. So just to let you know that on Wednesdays we do conspiracy theories on my channel, where we look at things like flat earth and creationists. One of the reasons we're reading the Bible is so we can learn a little bit more about the beliefs of the creationists from Off of the Genesis, which is a book of utter nonsense, as we are currently learning through the book of learning about Noah and his mythical ark, which clearly didn't actually exist. And we're learning about the writings of Moses, who allegedly wrote the first 5 books of Genesis, which were manuscripts which were put together because why not, written Hebrew, and then it was ascribed to all the different languages that now are around, with the original being Hebrew. Who's to say that the scholars who wrote it weren't biased and made it seem better or worse on their personal view? Anyway, let's get back to the book of Genesis. So, line 14. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. So it's been flooded for months or years, yet after just 2 months, the ground dried. Sure, of course it was. Then God just said to Noah, is that it? Now, the big dude upstairs is chatting with Noah, who literally saved all the animals because God decided the only way to sort these pesky humans out was to kill them all. Genocide. Now that's not a bad thing. The Bible. How can it get worse? Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Why would you still sit there, Noah? Don't piss God off. He has a tendency to do it. He will take you the bloody whatever. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, and all of the flesh, the birds, the animals, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may abound to the earth and be fruitful and multiply with the earth. So this is the kangaroos, go back to Australia, with the koalas and the snakes and the spiders, penguins to the southern oceans. Not sure why they would need to get on the ark, to be fair. Polar bears to the north, and so on, yet no archaeological evidence of these journeys being made. Who knew? So Noah went out with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives. Because of course they did. The way wives are clearly the secondary member of the Bible is hilarious. Let your wife know, people, you're the man. Be the man. And every animal, every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moved on the earth went out of the ark by families. And they knew where they were going as well. So all different islands with their diversity of species are sent off to get to their islands. So giant tortoises go to Galapagos because they move fast. Islands, emus to Australia, kiwis to New Zealand, whilst American species set sail from around 6,000 years ago. Had never happened. Life has been on Earth for around 6 billion years. These creatures and their unique diversity happened due to evolution through natural selection, not because some book decides that Noah saved them. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. All that time on the ark, not sure how many animals would remain clean, but there you go. Then when the Lord smelled the pleasant odor, the Lord said in his heart, I will never cause the ground. Sorry, let me start that line again, because that one's quite a big one. And we don't want to start the whole video again. Christ. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing odours, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again cause the ground because of humankind, for the inclination of the human heart is evil from the youth, nor I will ever again destroy everything creatures and I have done. To be fair, this is good for man. After all, I'm sure mankind has done worse in the past 200 years than he did back then. I give you the World War One and then World War Two, the Holocaust. These three things must be worse, surely. And then the wars afterwards. As long as the earth endures seed times and harvests, cold and heat, summer and winter, days and night shall not cease. These things just happen, always happen, and that's what happens. That's because of the world's tilt, the world's curvature. The sun will shine for an eternity, it seems, at least another 6 billion years anyway. And in that time, we'll get summer, we'll get winter. Summers will gradually start to get hotter as the sun starts to get bigger over the next 6 billion years as it starts to run out of its hydrogen, which has been turned into helium. Fun fact for you, helium is the second most found gas in the whole universe, but there's not a lot of it on Earth, and it's running out, and we need it because we use it for a lot of things, including blowing up balloons. But that's not its main thing. We use it for our ally and things like that, which were discovered by astrophysicists to use to look at the universe. Well done, NASA. There. Thank you very much. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Next time in Chapter 7, let's see what happens then, eh? Exciting stuff. Anyway, as I say, thank you for watching. I have been your man in the shed, NP. Hope you have enjoyed this. Why wouldn't ya? It's definitely an interesting watch. Thank you so much for watching. See you, pals.